Okay, so if you want to freeze the first column in your worksheet, you basically just go to freeze panes and go freeze first column. And as you can see, this thin black line has appeared, which basically denotes that this column here, which is our first column, column A, is frozen. So now what you'll find is if I scroll down, our header, in other words, our top row, goes off screen. However, if I scroll from left to right, you can see that basically column A is static. So one good news when you do freeze columns and panes is that you can basically almost get a more concise view of the table. So for example here, if I just want to see the totals for the month, irrespective of what items were purchased, you can see that by using my scroll bar here, I've basically just got it to column A and column F. So that's how you freeze the first column in Microsoft Excel. Now to unfreeze it, you just go to freeze panes, unfreeze panes, and there you go. It's now unfrozen, which you can see because it goes off screen. Okay, now if you wanted to freeze more than one row, what you need to do is basically figure out the rows you want to freeze and then select the row after, then head over to freeze panes and click this option here. So just to give you an example, let's just say I wanted to freeze the first 3 rows. So I would select the row after my last chosen frozen row, which would be this row here. Head on over to freeze panes and select this option here. And as you can see, this thin black line has appeared, which basically denotes that now this row, that row, and this row are all frozen. And if I scroll down, you can see that they remain on the worksheet and don't go out of view. And again, to unfreeze it, you just go to unfreeze panes. Similarly, if I wanted to freeze more than one column, basically you select the next column, which is after the last one you want to freeze. So for example, if I wanted to freeze columns A and B, I would select column C, head on over to freeze panes, and click this option here. And as you can see, this thin black line has appeared. Just to test it, if I scroll left to right, you can see that columns A and B are static. And again, similarly, to unfreeze it, just head on over to this option. Okay, so there are a lot of ways you can use the freeze pane options, but one of the most popular ways I found that are really handy is when you can freeze both the column and the row at the same time. Now, to do this, for example, the top row and the first column, what you need to do is basically look at where they intersect, and then from that, go diagonally down to the bottom right by 1 cell. So, just to give you an example, if I wanted to freeze this and that, I look at where they both intersect, which is here. I then go down by 1, diagonally, to this cell here. I then go to freeze panes and go freeze panes. And as you can see, the black borders have appeared for both, and they're both frozen, both the first column and the top row. And just to demonstrate this, if I scroll down, you can see that our top row is firmly fixed, and if I scroll left to right, you can see that our first column is fixed. Okay, so you have learnt how to freeze panes in Microsoft Excel. Now this is a super handy way of basically making your navigation around a worksheet much more easier. Thank you for listening and watching.